Happy Friday, socialites. Good ASU. I am your host. Thank you again so much for joining with me. Part of your Friday. Like I said, I am. It's an interesting Friday. A lot of kinds of craziness went on. I didn't even shave for you. Why? Ain't no reason. Ain't no other thing other than to just go ahead and visit with you guys, with you all. I put a Zoom link. I don't have a Zoom link. I have a Zoom running. If you want to be able to join in on the conversation and just kind of commiserate, you can go ahead and DM me, and then I will send you the link, and then you can join and we can chat on this layout here. And this way we can just have some good time. Otherwise, you just stare at me at this goofy resolution. Yeah, this one's an interesting camera that I have. How are you, Peggy, for ASU Mike? Good to see you. Hope everyone is doing well there in Arizona. Miss you, love you, can't wait to see you. Hopefully we get to break bread soon. But yeah, it's and it was a hell of a day. It was a hell of a day, and there was a lot of crazy things that came up, and so um yeah, a lot of it wasn't how we planned for a lot of that. But the ASU game got canceled, obviously, and so we're all bummed out about that one, but we will be able to go through that eventually and be able to get on top of whatever else we get to see. Really, right now it's a matter of making sure that Coach Edwards is healthy, right, and that he's able to stay well, and that the kids, whoever the kids are, they are they're okay, right? So again, as always, thanks again. Yeah, it was full crappy mode. Again, shout out to everyone in the chat. If you want to be part of the show, DM me on Twitter, go to ASU, and then we'll go ahead and get you a link to the Zoom session, and then we'll just visit and talk and have conversation. We can even talk about what was good about the USC game last week, other than it, happening. There was a lot that happened this week. A lot of games, crap ton of games, got canceled. I mean, I think there was a tweet earlier about how only 7% of the possible games were canceled in one day, which is like, I still it still feels like, okay, well, COVID-19 is 99% success, survivable. But it's like, you know what? We didn't want to lose those games in the first place, but here we are, and we lost them, and we're doing that. So let's be a part of. It looks like Iowa thracks the hell out of Minnesota 35-7. So, Preston, lovely to see you, man. Like I said, if anyone wants to join in and visit and talk about whatever else, go ahead and make sure you just DM me. You can join the Zoom session that I have running right here, and I will not be the only one visiting. So as always, if you just want to be part of the conversation and share your thoughts about the week or the games or whatever else, and especially next week, that will be interesting too. I'm gonna have to fix that title because that title is a little too high. There we go. That's much more pretty. Ta-da! I can get off of here. There we go. Green lights, green lines are gone. So anyway, I'm looking at my DMs. Hopefully, someone is able to jump in here and talk with me, but it'll be good. Jeff, thank you for your suggestion. I saw that, so thank you again. Reaching out, looking forward to having some other guests on there. So we shall see. Oh, we lost someone. Looks like Cincinnati is rolling on East Carolina, so that's always fun to see. Well, so yeah, it started off okay. I mean, I guess we shouldn't be too upset about the game getting canceled because they weren't saying anything, right? With practices falling through yesterday, and then nothing else happening. Um, yeah, I don't know why it upset me more than it should have that it got canceled, but all signs pointed to that it was happening. How about the UCLA and playing on Sunday, right? That'll be the one time I'm actually going to watch sports on a Sunday, other than the Olympics or something else. So it's actually going to be that's going to be good. Yep. Get that dang pig, the Floyd of Rosedale. At least some of the things are still being played for, right? And getting some of that. I just watched Mando episode 11, so that was a good one. Brad Denny was telling me that there was some character references in there that were they were solid references, and so because I haven't seen particular episodes, I guess it wasn't as strong of a what is a word Impact. Oh, there's that person's name. Oh, that's person's name. And so anyway, no, I get that. I think it was a little bit of a loss. Those references were lost on me, but anyway, I'm happy to see that actually, um, the child is probably redeemed a little bit because, you know, other than the last episode and him, everyone getting, angry at him for what he did in the last episode. Now, he kind of redeemed himself. So yeah. Anyway, ranting, going off on a Star Wars conversation that was actually good to watch right after dinner because I was just even before dinner I was in a really foul mood. So I was actually kind of leery of doing this one as well. But you know, even if we're gonna talk for a little while, that's okay. ECU has some gorgeous uniforms. I love the shiny dome. I don't know about you. Um, I love the purple shiny. I guess they went purple, white, purple today, so it looks really good. Looks different from a. Looks very close to a Ravens combination. I guess it's the exact same Ravens combination, but those shiny lids that they got are really pretty. So that's what I was. One thing I was going to do is reach out to Cole Streeper out at Uniformity and see what the combo was that was going to be. Yeah, it was a. We'll see if they're able to share it, if they're going to recycle it for a future game, which will be interesting. So, yeah, that'll be good, Jeff. I love the fact that you're actually joining. Thank you. All right, there we go. So we're going to have a guest on shortly. Isn't that exciting? We get to go ahead and talk about that. Mike, I had ribs. Costco. I think they were boiled Costco. So they were from Costco. I think they were boiled and then baked a little bit. They had some good flavor, but again, they weren't smoked. So, can't have everything the way you want. But anyway, it was filling, had some mac and cheese and had some bread with that too. So it worked out very well. Actually, it was good. It was filling. It's all I needed. So I got some gelato slash ice cream waiting for me in the freezer. So I'm excited for that. Sea salted caramel because that's my jam. And so that's always interesting about that. Speaking of all the crap that I'm eating, that's another thing that I got to do. So I so I guess Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday of last week, I could barely move my knee. I was actually limping around the house because it was just so painful. And so what happened was I went to the doctor on Wednesday, and it looks like I'm not old enough for a knee replacement, but there is there's an injection that they can throw in your knee, and it's supposed to lubricate the the area in your knee, give you a little bit more give you a little bit more flexibility and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I got to do today. So it was a big old 3-4 inch needle all the way into the knee, and then just they squirted this stuff into my knee, and then feels good. The knee feels good. So yes, Mr. Preston, how are you, man?
I'm good. Sorry, I came at the wrong part of that conversation.
That's all right. I mean, I'm just describing how um, I'm getting injections into my knee, so this way my knee doesn't hurt because I don't have a lot of cartilage as it is.
Ouch.
Yeah. So anyway, the reason we go into that is because I have to start losing weight because the more weight I lose, the more gentle it is on my knee. And
It makes a big difference. I can tell if I'm 8 pounds above where I need to be and I go
really,
for a jog, I get shin splints.
mm,
If I get where I need to be, I'm fine. It's weird.
I think that's an age thing with us, right? It's
It
like
totally,
it's like
totally.
that's where it goes. And Mike, yes, it is a Talenti sea salted caramel gelato. I have that waiting for me in the freezer as well. So yeah, I'm excited to do that. So how are you? I mean, I know you were pretty vocal during the game, Jeff, but I mean, how were you once the announcement dropped? I mean, were you just as vocal, or did you kind of like no?
You know, it's funny. I haven't had a ton of a chance to process it because it's just happened in the middle of my workday.
Okay.
So I've been, but you know, I guess I was a little surprised and somebody made a comment on Twitter about coming in the walls of the castle kind of thing, because everything up until
That was
today
me.
had
Exactly.
was a
Yeah, that
yeah,
was me.
and it was like everything. It was so everything is great. We've had no problems, and then all of a sudden, the barbarians were at the gate, and it was done like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I've heard rumors, and so I mean, nothing that I can confirm or deny. So I will bring it up. But I've heard rumors that it was self inflicted in a way, unfortunately. So we shall
Halloween.
see. Ooh, yeah, I don't know. Well, if it was Halloween, right, I would have figured we would have seen something before, but yeah, it probably was. Who,
That's
I mean,
yeah,
anyway,
no
that I wish
speculation.
we could figure it out. It's all speculative. Absolutely.
We'll never know.
Yeah, but again, the games tomorrow, the hockey games tomorrow. We
Yeah,
can figure out where
no,
to. We figure out where watch that though. I mean,
it's on Big Ten Plus, and I'm gonna subscribe. Paul shot me a link. It's like $50 for a hockey thing for the season,
okay,
and so I'll have it, and maybe if password gets your way. My kid actually has a game, so I'm only gonna be able to watch the first hour or so.
oh,
So,
gotcha.
but I might be able to send you something.
Let me see here. Oh wow, that's interesting. They do the football in '62. That's funny.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, serious? So let me see here. Latest videos. Sign in. Let me see if it's gonna let me. Anyway, 50
yeah,
bucks for
because
the package. Then that'll be good.
yeah, you can do like a sports specific package for the season, and it's like $55 for hockey for the year.
Okay,
So
let's see.
I'll be doing that because I'll watch at least. And I went and looked through, and it looks like they're going to show a fair amount of them.
Okay.
Between you can go on, and I don't know if it's an actual NCAA website, but you just type in NC2A hockey schedule, and it'll show all of the games that are scheduled to be televised
Okay.
through the end of the year. And we're on like twice on in the next 2 weeks. One on Big Ten Network, and I think one on maybe both on Big Ten. But we've got
Okay.
a NBC Sports Channel again. I think against Notre Dame.
Right.
So
They gonna
we're
be
going
any
to be
good?
on that, and
Notre
then
Dame.
yeah, we'll have the Big Ten Plus feed.
Notre Dame gonna be any good?
They were supposed to be. They're ranked number 20, and they got shut out by Wisconsin tonight. So
Oh dear.
in the first game of the Big Ten season. So
Oh, game started tonight then.
yeah, the first game was tonight.
Okay.
Ours is the second game of the season tomorrow at noon.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a full day, and then they don't have to go ahead. And I'm excited. Do we know what they're wearing?
I do not. That's a really good question. Let me see if I can.
Yeah. See if we can find that one, because I mean that's always they always do a good job of oh, this is what we're wearing. This is what we're
Yeah,
up and everything else. That's always good to see.
let me see. Let me talk to my
Who's it?
guy.
Yep. The Nicholas Keller. He DM'd me a few times, so to see he's gonna let him join and see if everything how that goes or if it goes sideways.
Hey,
Yeah.
I was
And
I was on the first virtual summit. Nothing could go more sideways than that.
yeah, I don't like talking about that one at all, but that one was pretty horrific. That was pretty horrific how that one went. But yeah, so thus the invite. As long as I know who you are, or you DM me if I talked with you before, then oh yes, that was another one. So did you see that tweet where it said, "Oh, you can only keep 3 Christmas movies"?
Oh yeah,
Which ones
and
did you pick?
it's funny, and mine's completely different than everybody else. I kept Christmas Vacation, Elf, and Die Hard.
Okay, at least Die Hard's in
Yeah.
there. At
Oh
least
yeah.
Die Hard's in there. Yeah, because I'm like, man, because I had to go through each one, and it was all so Christmas Story is always going to be on there for me, and then it was Die Hard was my number two, and then my third one it was either Elf or It's a Wonderful Life, so I just left to pick one, but I went with It's a Wonderful Life. Although everyone was talking about Brad Denny said they had to bring on Die Hard 2 because that is a Christmas movie too,
Oh, is it like? Oh yeah.
and then some people were just adding other ones. Yeah, there's some other ones that are missing, but of those 12. Yeah, because he and here's something, and I gotta correct this one this Christmas. I've never seen National Lampoon's.
You ever seen
I've never
Christmas
seen it.
Vacation?
Never seen Christmas Vacation. I
Oh, that's
know,
the
I
one.
know.
That's with Eddie and the draining the septic system into the
The
sewer and the pool and
the shitter's full is what I
it's
understand.
yeah. Hey, Mark. It it's yeah. Oh, it's funny because now I picked totally different because it's like I've seen It's a Wonderful Life enough. I've seen Christmas Story enough. I've seen all those, and it's not that they're boring. But they're very almost sentimental and whatever.
Okay,
It's like, but if I'm gonna flip on a movie and have fun, I'm gonna flip on Christmas Vacation or
I
Elf or
got
something
you.
like
I
that.
like yeah. That's a fair that's good criteria then. That's good criteria because I think I was very sentimental. That's why I picked it was a
Yeah.
Wonderful Life. I think
Oh
that's
yeah.
why I went with that was it. But let's see who's tweeting at me. Someone did Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Oh, the replies to the Matt Berry tweet about the
Yeah.
situation being extremely dire, which is always I guess that's how they're gonna say it. I mean, hopefully, I mean, there's no transparency as to what in the wide world of sports is truly going on in there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know. Well, as long as coach is okay, because that was interesting. Because
Yeah, and the family too. So it sounds like it's been percolating.
yeah, it's been percolating for a bit, and so because who was it? Michelle Gardner, I think she's one of the writers. She said that she heard coach on the show on a show last night,
He sounded
and
bad. Yeah.
yeah, that's what she said. So I'm like, "God, I'm trying to find that replay, right, in some form or another, but can't find it at all. I mean, again, it may be just stress or whatever else, but
Yeah.
what do you
Well, I mean,
watch?
he has it. I mean, I'm a everything I've read. It affects older people more seriously than younger people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And to that point, right? Rez isn't old. Fortunately,
yeah.
it seems that he's getting better, but yeah,
Mm.
he's not. You know,
He got it. His post today made me smile because it means okay.
yeah, his brain's working now.
Yeah.
Yeah, him being nominated for people, he must have dropped a ton of weight. Then I think is what he's probably getting at.
Okay. My guy.
Cincinnati with a pick. Oh God, is that what are you watching by the way?
Oh, I was watching whatever was on Fox Sports One. Was that Floyd Rosendale Cup?
Oh yes, the Iowa Minnesota game.
Over now. It was a
Yeah, that was a big frog stomp.
yeah. But what's did somebody say Nevada's on? Do we have a Big West game on tonight?
No, that's the shame because I was looking for it, and the only thing left, if let me double check the college football. Let me tell. Always go to lsufootball.net. They always have everything. Um, yeah, East Carolina Cincy is the last one. Day it doesn't look. Yeah, that's funny. They even have the California at UCLA game already up at 11 o'clock. They have, gosh dang, look at Hawaii at San Diego is going to be on Spectrum pay per view again.
What's with that?
I don't. I think it's some goofy. Spectrum has some, stone grip on Hawaii in some form or another, which is not fair. I mean, it was even then. Was it Chad
Ooh,
Smith? He was talking about it. Chad Smith was talking about it. He was like, even when I was in Hawaii, sometimes you get blacked out. You couldn't watch it locally.
all right. So apparently the hockey team is wearing maroon jersey with gray helmets, pants, and gloves tomorrow.
That's interesting. Where's that
Yeah.
at? Did you see it on who?
I texted the guy.
Oh, got it. Separate. Okay, got it. So it's a maroon jersey with gray. So it's
Gray,
gray,
gray.
maroon, gray, maroon,
Yeah.
gray. Okay,
Yeah, that's
that's a
interesting.
cool. That's actually a cool. That's
I now,
actually
yeah.
a
Now that I
really
think
cool
about it,
combo.
I wonder if they've got. I'll have to dig around and see if we've done that before.
Yeah, because I don't think we've ever done that on the football field either. Because it's always been all gray or it's been all maroon, but I've never seen a blend
Yeah.
of all of that in there. So, all right. So
And
we got Nicholas Keller joining us. He's see how this gentleman is. First time I've actually got to chat with him, but we'll see what he has to.
Drum roll, please.
Yes, exactly. Ta-da! That is Nicholas Keller. Sir, how are you?
Dude, awesome. How are you?
I'm glad you're here, man. We're just doing well, talking. Nicholas, Nick, Jeff, Nick, welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Where are you located, man?
85282, brother.
85282. So you are in Tempe. Because I'm like, okay, wait, I have to remember my zip codes for when I lived in Arizona. So you're right in Tempe. That's cool.
Hey, are you recording this?
No, let me double check. I am not. No.
I got COVID tested yesterday with the football team.
Oh, did you?
How did you? Where you just happened to be? Did you just happen to be there at that? Now, well, hold on. Okay, so let's. This is going to YouTube. This is being streamed. So do you want to not? So you got tested with the football team, but let's leave it at that. How about that? So if you want to share anything else, you can, but let's not expand upon that for anything else. But
good call.
Yeah. Just want to make sure. So it is going to YouTube, but at least we'll do that. So, you were on campus, I guess, is where you got tested.
Yeah, biodesign, which actually ASU's got their stuff down with all their testing. I know Rez has gotten tested multiple times there.
Exactly. And he said, and again, like we saw this morning, he seems to be doing much better.
Yeah, I got tested yesterday. I got my results within 8 hours.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. And it's a drive-through, right?
No, I went to biodesign.
And saliva? Not up the nose, right?
Yeah, saliva. I had to sit there for 10 minutes to spit in a tube.
So you had to fill it then.
Yeah, you sit there and
you're just doing that over and over and over. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, how much they needed to be able to test that. So at biodesign. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Eric, Big E, he's actually talked about how well biodesign just has their process down now and how efficient it has become.
They're rock stars.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff, where do you live?
Southern California, Huntington Beach.
Have you ever heard, keep your eye out, I work for a company, we were at the stadium, but Dang Brother Pizza, fire truck, food truck out there.
What's who? I'm sorry?
Called Dang Brother Pizza.
Oh, I don't know that. That's interesting. I know a lot of the trucks around here. I don't know about them. I'll look them up.
They're mostly in San Diego. They're making their way up towards you.
Yeah.
I love food trucks. What's the name again? Spell the first part.
Dang Brother Pizza.
DANG?
Yeah.
That's so cool. See, I love how creative they get with all those, because there's this one there's this mac and cheese place, and I'm drawing a blank as one of those, but there's a mac and cheese place here. There's always a bunch of them. I just wish we could go find them now, because they're always such great quality food, right? So, yeah. Dang.
Well, we had a little spot over, I don't know how familiar you are with the stadium right now.
Go ahead.
But when they redid the whole thing on the north side of the stadium, where it looks over the lake, we had the pizza truck, the fire truck. It's like a 1980s fire truck.
Okay.
In the corner. So I was super stoked to like be there and see it and make pizza for fans. And
what do you use? I mean, how are you cooking pizza that fast? And like
wood-fired pizza.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like in a
So we had the contract before Venezius.
Oh, got it.
And then it's based out of California.
Okay.
So logistics, it was a little funky, but good luck to Venezius, because
exactly,
because they were like, oh, give us like 50,000 pizzas, and you're like,
exactly.
Throughput doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
That's actually very cool, because my buddy, he got this pizza oven thing that is gas powered, but it's it's rectangular and you slide it in, and it has the pizza stone on the bottom, and then it has the hood over it. But you just turn it on like a grill, and it goes to like 700 degrees, and then it cooks the pizza in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So you have to keep turning it.
Which one is it? Because there's a bunch of them out there, and they're.
I don't think I took a picture of it. I'll get the name of it from my buddy, but he got the only reason he got it,
like on it or something like that.
Something like that.
Oni.
Yeah, that's those are. Look those up on YouTube or whatever. They're dope.
They are so. The only reason my buddy bought it is because it was on sale. Otherwise, he never would have got it. He got it at I think it was on Neiman Marcus, or one of those places was having a sale, and so he's like, all right, he went and got it. Otherwise, he never would have bought it full price. But I'm like, man, I think I need one of those. Then I'd get tired of eating pizza. But I mean, it's just, you fire it up, you put the dough on there, decorate it, go, and then you're eating pizza in under 5 minutes. So I'm like, all right, and they're fairly compact, right? So you can disconnect the gas, the legs fold under, and then goes down and you're in. So yeah, I may have to do that. So, but
hey Jeff, I like your background. Looks like we have a little similar thing going on.
That is random. Funny. Piece of wood.
This is Z Gallery, circa 1994.
Ah, it's from the 1900s. I like it.
Exactly.
Just like me, from the 1900s. Exactly.
Jetta, I just took off my sweatshirt that is the same one you're wearing.
Did you? Is it? See, I'm in my garage, and it's 52 outside, so it's kind of cold in here. I'm gonna have to turn my heater on because I have shorts on, so it's warming up a little too crazy. It's cooling down.
You don't know if you're embarrassed if you're wearing like Nike stuff instead of Adidas nowadays.
Well, actually, that's funny you say that, because the shorts are Nike, but the shirt is actually Adidas, and this is Nike too. So I'm like, but it looks good and it's comfy. So I mean, I just actually, except for the exception, I don't know if you guys watched the Sparky's pep rally that we did with ASU alumni last week.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like, "Don't wear any Nike gear. You can't wear any Nike gear." I can imagine. I'm like, okay.
Did you say send me some free gear?
No, I got a few bits that I can wear, but if I'm like, I think so. If it gets really cold, they sent me a blanket so I can actually wrap myself in this blanket that they sent me. So it's kind of like they gave me something to wear. So, but yeah, I got. Although I will admit, since it is season, there's always boxes arriving, and so my wife got a box from Fanatics. She doesn't wear anything from Fanatics, and I'm like, and she's like, you can't look at this box. So I'm like, so I'm getting some new gear eventually. I just, I just can't wear it.
You mean the Padawans are getting hats for Christmas?
Exactly. That's the only one's gonna wear the hat. The rest of them, they don't care about the ASU gear. So, but that's all right, man. I'll wait for it. I'll wait for it, and then I'll show it off come Christmas morning in all my gear. So, are you watching any of the games right now, Nicholas?
Well, no games right now. I do have to disappoint you. I haven't watched Mandalorian yet.
It's all right, man.
My little brother lives with me, and he's forced me. I got to get started. So,
see, I got to watch them too, because I watched it right before we got on. I think you saw that, and so I had to. I got a chance to relax and watch that and get all caught up, because I didn't want any spoilers. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do this. So, but it's all right. It's all right. You'll catch up. I was wondering what's going on. Prescott held. Oh, okay. Because it was like Prescott High School held the University of Arizona to just a 5-0 lead in the first half before the university team pulled away 21-0. Okay, why am I? Thought it was Adam Green tweeting random garbage on my timeline about the other team. Although, like you said, it's I think that's back to Jeff and I were talking about. You may have heard about this, Nick. Is that we're very curious as to where it came from. How did it get in? The Barbarians were at the wall, and then it finally got in. So how in the heck did it come in finally, after many weeks of apparently them doing well, and then all of a sudden after one game it goes sideways, and USC doesn't have any cases. So yeah.
Well, without spoilers,
go ahead.
It is a position group.
Okay. That's what they were saying. It was one side of the ball. They didn't say which. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it was just I know the guys that got it are not partiers. So Ralph had said something earlier today about that.
Oh, that it was Halloween
Like
related.
people
It
were
wasn't.
saying, oh, they couldn't resist going to parties.
I think I remember that. Yeah, I remember seeing some of that as
They
well.
it wasn't party type
I wonder
people.
how in the world if they did get it, if they're not. Well, they've always said
It's the same way that everyone gets it.
You just
Family sort
okay.
of
Someone had
dinners
it
or,
and didn't know or whatever else. Okay.
and then it just spreads like
See, that's bumming
wildfire.
me out too because I'm like, my parents are actually planning to come from Tucson up here to the Bay Area. And so I'm like, man, I mean, we've been doing pretty good about staying safe, but you know, they're older. They're the prime target age to, get sick in the wrong way. And so I don't know if I want to.
So we're lucky, like being right next to ASU. So we are going to have, I'd say, a big Thanksgiving, which means like
Really?
12 to 15 people.
Okay.
We all work for ASU,
Okay.
so we have the ability to go get tested. So
Oh,
that
I see what you're
Monday and
saying.
Tuesday, the whole family's going to get tested.
Okay.
So we can at least have like some sort of like resemblance of a
Interesting.
regular Thanksgiving.
Right. So then you'll know.
And then if someone does test positive, you're not coming.
You'll know exactly. Then it's like we'll bring you a plate. Just stay away.
Yeah.
That's it. So is now most of your family there in the Phoenix area or Tempe area?
Yeah, I live 2 houses away from my mother.
So you're born and raised. So you're born and raised there.
Tempe through and
Oh,
through.
good for you, man. That's excellent. So you're in the same neighborhood. You grew up and all around the same schools and all that.
Yeah.
Very nice. Now, are
I mean,
you?
my like executive director lives across the church parking lot from me. So
That's funny, but that's
nice
cool though.
community. We got a nice ASU community
Yeah,
on
exactly.
my street.
Now, where are you? Are you north, south, east, or west from campus?
Let's see, southeast, about a
Okay,
mile southeast.
right on.
So I don't know how familiar you are, rural and Broadway.
I used to live on Rural and Broadway. There's some apartments between Broadway and I'm sorry, between Rural and McClintock on the north side. So I guess there's like a 7-Eleven, then a little shopping center, and then there's a string of apartments. And so I was in those apartments for the longest time.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I'd forgotten they were. Sure thing, Jeff. Not the quads because that was on. That's on
That's
University.
Apache,
No, quads is
right?
no quads is on a University and Rural.
Oh, university. Yeah, my
Yeah,
cousin lived there.
yeah. So I used to be there. I don't
That's
think
where the
it's.
Rona is spreading.
Is that where it is? Okay.
Probably. I mean, I just know from 10 years ago at the
The
quads.
quads was
That's,
very social. Yes,
yeah,
quads was very social. A lot of people
no
went there.
social distancing at the
None
quads.
whatsoever. And then yeah, so it was the quads and then I think it was Broadway Corners, I think is what it was called. Anyway, I don't remember. All I remember is that there used to be this big old huge pit which was the tennis court. Like it was like flat and then it'd go down and it was really and we went back one time just to check it out and it got filled in, so I'm guessing, someone fell in the pit and got hurt or whatever else, so they had to fill the whole thing. But it was
Probably some sort of drunk, dumb accident.
something exactly. This is the way. That is how we
They
do
were
it.
like, we are not going to get sued for multiple millions of dollars.
Exactly. We're not going to do it anymore. But they were good apartments. I mean, it was 490 square feet, I think. So it was just me and Mrs. Jetta ASU. We had just got married and we were there, and so I was just finishing my last year, and so I just remember it was so hot. I mean, having been born and raised, I was used to the heat, but there would be times where I'd just come home from class and we'd fall asleep at like 4 o'clock and like not wake up till like 7 the next morning. We just slept, just like, oh, okay. But again, we didn't mind running the air conditioning all the time because
So is your wife an alum too?
no, we met, actually we're both from Tucson. So we met down there at Pima Community College. And so she moved here to the Bay Area to be with family while I was going to school. And then when we got married, during my I think it was my last year at ASU, then we just were here, you know, lived for about 9 months and then moved here to the Bay Area, and then we've been here ever since. So yeah, been very lucky to have searched for gold, and I'm still looking for gold, but at least we can still say we can stay here and find gold in some form or another. So yeah, I love that hat, by the way. I can't wear the flat build, but I absolutely love that design.
Yeah, my wife got this for my birthday.
It's so
I
cool.
wanted Joe Healy has one, which is like the America flag version
Yes.
instead of the Arizona.
Yeah.
That's my next
Is that the next one? Yeah.
purchase. Yeah, that's my next one.
I love that one. See, the other one that I got, and I didn't look good in it, but Padawan 2 wears it all the time. It's a gray one, and it has the pitchfork, but on the bill, it has the copper and gray flag pattern on the hat. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember
that's
that one.
awesome.
It was cool. I was like, wow, that's gorgeous. I think I bought it at Cactus Sports. Well, I ordered it from Cactus Sports and they sent it to me, but it never looked good on me. But then I was like, all right, he wore it, I think, for months on end. He just kept wearing it and wearing it, wearing it. So, and it was gray, so it never got dirty. I was like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, it's gray. Go gray, and you never have to worry about it. So, but yeah. So we're working for ASU. What did you do last week? Were you just staying home watching the game, or what did you do for the game last week?
Yeah, actually, the last time I had a big thing was the first Cardinals game.
Okay.
I'm a big smoker.
Oh,
So
good.
I did like a 15-pound brisket. I sent it to
Wow.
Keegan. Because actually, like that was when I was a student worker when I was like 17.
Okay.
I knew Keegan and all those guys
Oh,
in
right
that
on.
class. Um, so I have to send Keegan a picture of smoking a brisket.
Right. Well, he was just in town, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was just here.
Yeah, he was just there. Because the only reason I know is he was tweeting pictures of the
Yeah,
kick-ass
hopefully he moves
barbecue.
back. I think he's leaning towards coming back to Tempe.
He's in Washington State right now, right? He's up, I think,
Yeah, Seattle-ish
Seattle-ish
area.
area. Exactly.
Except for his truck got stolen. That was a huge
That
bummer.
was wicked. I can't even imagine
That's
what that's about.
he had like a $60,000 or $70,000 truck.
It was right, and then they I guess he reported it and got another $60,000-$70,000 truck.
Yeah.
But it's a work truck, right? I think that's what he said, is that he uses it constantly for work, so he has to haul stuff everywhere.
He's a baller, man.
He is.
That guy is like so strong. Like you can tell I'm sure you follow him, but he's like still ripped as hell.
He's
And that guy,
still
that's what you
ripped.
want as someone as like a tradesperson.
Be able to
Like, because
live.
I think
Yeah,
he's a framer.
I think
Uh,
so. Right? I think he's sent some pictures of that's what he does. Right?
yeah. I wish he lived here because I need framers all the time.
It's I'd imagine it's almost like an, well, there are many aspects of construction that it's like an art, but I would imagine, being able to do that is always this, finding the right guys with the right skills is just so appreciative to have.
Well, I know you struggled when you like graduated from ASU, like finding your like purpose.
Yes.
And sometimes I've struggled with that same thing of like going to college versus doing trades.
Okay.
So I'm super happy to see him
Yeah.
like just crush it as a tradesman.
Well, that's kind of, I mean, that's another thing too that I'm encouraging Padawans. Well, if you're going to do a trade, I mean, you're always going to be needed in some form or another. You can make good money. I mean, eventually own your own business if that inspires to you. So I'm like, absolutely. I mean, I think trades is something that should be something people should pursue because they always need that talent, that skill, and that set to be able to do that. So I agree. I don't
You
know if
should
I
be
could do it
super
later.
respectable too.
Yeah,
There should
absolutely.
be no like negative stigma if you want to be a tradesperson.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it just got an unfortunate rap, and it never should have had one. Because like you said, I mean, I've talked to many people that just built huge career, provided for their family, be able to be home for them, take care of them and everything else. So I mean, what else do you want? Right? What else do you want to be able to do? So happy home, happy career. You don't always have to be an executive someplace trying to swindle other people out of their money. It always feels like with these big corporations. That's another
Did either
conversation.
of you guys see the throwback jerseys, the like 70s
Oh
that
yes.
75s.
got released?
Yeah, those look good.
You putting down an order? I am.
Did you get them? Are they
Not
sold out?
yet, but
Okay.
I gotta milk the wife into letting me buy it. But
if they made it into a T-shirt or something, I think I would.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe if it was a sunburst pattern on a shirt, I would wear that. So, but yeah,
I'm not a jersey guy. I can't pull it off.
I can't pull it off either. I mean, I just
I
can't.
don't think any of us can pull it. I mean, some guys look good in them, but I just always look like an idiot in a jersey.
Yeah.
But it's always good to have them. But do you have hockey jerseys, Jeff?
I do not. My son does. I bought my son one. But I do not. I know that Rob has some, and my kid has two, actually three. I bought him, and he doesn't know it. The women's hockey team has some. They have Sparky on their unis instead of the pitchfork, and it's totally dope. And so I bought it for him. He doesn't realize it. So from the women, I mean, he wouldn't mind anyway.
Of course.
But that's really dope. So he's got three. I don't have any. I got a hat that says issue hockey. That's about it, and a bunch of T-shirts.
Right.
But yeah, I can't pull up. I will tell you this though: if I would love to get that throwback helmet with the sunburst on it.
Oh, the hockey or the
no, for football, and get autographs from people that wore it back in that.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Like a Danny, is it a Danny White kind of thing or a Mark Malone? That would be cool.
That would be cool to have all those old signatures on. Mark Malone still come around? I can't. Again, I don't know.
I haven't seen him in forever.
It's always interesting to see because who does and who doesn't come around, right? Always being able to see.
Right.
But that's going to be that was the other thing too, because I think who was I talking to? Doug Haller. I was talking to Doug Haller because we did a show several weeks ago, and he was actually trying to do a piece on Reggie Jackson right before the season happened, and he didn't get to. I mean, it was a bunch of hit and miss and everything else. Eventually, he was able to write that article that you saw, but I'm like, I can't wait for him to come back. I mean, just when Reggie Jackson comes back and is able to step foot back either on the baseball diamond or on the field, I think that everyone's going to lose their mind because he's been gone for so long. So I think that's just like those are the kind of people you want to see. Any of them, you just want to have them come back. So
did Reggie? Well, when Reggie played, did he have the sunburst? Was he? Because that would be really cool.
See, that I don't know because he was under Cush, but I don't know if that's what he. I don't know if that's what he wore.
That would be cool.
That would be cool to figure out.
To get him to sign a football, because that's what he came here for, is football.
Exactly. I mean, that's the interesting thing too, because he lives kind of down the road from me. He lives down in Carmel, so he's not too far away. I mean, he's a decent drive away from me, but I just wondering if I could just walk around Carmel and just bump into him. It's like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
And then
just, you, man.
Oh, I'd probably freak out. I probably wouldn't be able to do that. So, I mean, it was like, so I was, I reached out to a bunch of former players to be part of the first tailgate, right, that we had last week. Mm-hmm. And we were lucky to have Gus Farwell part of it, and that was actually really cool.
Yeah, that was dope.
But I reached out to Jake Plummer, and someone gave me his cell phone. It's like, text him, and I'm like, I'm not gonna text Jake Plummer out of the blue if I'm trying to have him on as a guest.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, I don't want to burn
you can text Jake Plummer.
And so I was like, it's like, okay. So I actually talked with Kyle Murphy, who's a dear friend, and then he's like, can you reach out to Jake and see? And so obviously he was real busy, and he couldn't do it. But yeah, fine. So then it was kind of surreal too, because there was a couple hours there where I was texting with Jake Plummer. I'm like, okay. So it was actually pretty cool to be able to do that. So he's on the list, people I want to interview. So
yeah,
it was actually pretty cool to be able to get that.
It's pretty funny because I'm Catholic. Our house backs up to like a Catholic church.
Okay.
And Herm's Catholic.
All right.
And so at the Newman Center on campus,
yes.
I know Herm frequents that. And so I did secretly actually go to extra mass on Sunday to be like, maybe I could get a high five from her, over the last couple of years. Like maybe I'll just give him a fist bump or something. Never came to fruition. I see him; he's always like donating to people on Mill Avenue.
Really?
He's always buying someone lunch or buying someone coffee. So it is really nice. I love Todd Graham, but Herm he's a classy guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, like we were talking about that too. We're very fortunate to have him part of our family. Right.
But, yeah.
And I think if we want to talk about like Merlin last weekend.
Yes, go ahead.
Merlin struggled last season.
He had
because he had new children, like he had some personal stuff going on.
He had several. Didn't his father pass away too, or something like that?
His dad, yeah. Herm gave a speech at his father's funeral. I think AP did too. But if you think about, if you're like a young struggling kid going through crazy things, I would want Herm as my coach, because there's no doubt in my mind that Herm gave him some good guidance on how to be an excellent parent.
Right, being able to be there
and that interception last weekend. I mean, shoot, Merlin should be playing wide receiver at this point. I mean, he laid himself out.
Hey Nick, you were mentioning that you were smoking. What kind of smoker do you
have? So I got one from Costco. It's called a Pit Boss. It's like an egg.
Oh yeah.
It's a Kamado.
The green egg. It's a blue egg.
Right.
But I think I'm going to switch over to. I think I'm going to do a Traeger now.
You're going to go to Pellet Grill.
Yeah, I'm just going to cheat.
Yep.
Like.
It is.
I don't have time to like wait for 2 hours to heat up the egg. It's like I'd rather just get a Traeger and cheat.
It's great. I mean, if you're just a casual smoker and you want to it's the easiest. It's just so easy to do.
I'm not going to competition.
I have one, but I know those who do.
Exactly. Yeah. Paige Denny, Brad Denny's wife, she has a Traeger, and you'll always see her post pictures of it. Like you said, Jeff, it's so easy. To do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, nowadays, I mean, and there's versions of them. There's Oklahoma Joes are pretty nice too. But yeah, it's that's the easy piece.
Right.
Have either of you, like again, to go back to Keegan, he just went to Little Miss Barbecue for the first time. Have either of you been there?
Never.
I haven't.
No, I've done a few places. I've done a few places in other cities, but that one I haven't been to that one. So other barbecue places. Go ahead.
As Arizona, people can talk about Arizona barbecue. It really makes me upset when Keegan was asking like, "Oh, where do I go for barbecue?" And people are like, just naming like generic places. You're like, that's
someone
not
named Dickie's. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I'd say somebody say Dick.
Rudy. I mean, Rudy's is okay, but like Dickie, someone said Lucille's, which is, you're like, come on, dude. Like Keegan smokes stuff all the time. Like he's not going to Lucille's.
Oh God. Yeah, no, you don't want to. No, I've worked for that family. No, you don't want to go there.
Yeah, when I went the first time I went to Little Miss, I got fatty brisket. I've never tried any. I mean, their ribs look pretty good, but their fatty brisket's so on point. It's just like regular Texas salt and pepper, and I can't bring myself to get anything other than the brisket.
Well, that's fair too, because I mean, I remember if you find something, it's like you're denying yourself. It's not that you're enjoying the other stuff; it's like you're denying yourself
the best thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have a place here called Sauced, and their burnt ends are always what I get, because, like you said, I've had everything, but then I just got fixated on these burnt ends, so that's all. That's the only thing I want now. I tried everything else. I'm okay.
Okay, give me a minute. It's a little south of you. In the Santa Cruz area, there's a sausage place. Something. It's outside of Santa Cruz. Okay. It's like in Watsonville area.
Oh, okay.
But there's like a meat market that has the best sausages ever.
Like, I think my cousin's been down there.
You get a red hot, and it's got like the snap that you're looking for.
Okay.
I think it's Salcedo Sausage Market or something like that. Okay. Is Salcedo like in Watsonville area?
Well, Sausalito is north of right north of San Francisco.
Yeah, it's like near Petaluma, right?
Yeah, it's towards the north. Yeah, exactly. But maybe let's do sausage. So it'd be Santa Cruz sausage.
Yeah, Watson. It's close to Watsonville. It's like right outside of Watsonville.
Let's see.
And it's legendary. It's like a sausage company.
Maybe Corralitos.
Yeah.
There we go. Yep, I just found it. Corralitos Market and Sausage Company in Watsonville. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Go there.
Oh, fresh sandwiches and sausages. Just go up and get a sandwich like that. Oh, that's all we need. And that's the other.
It's like a family-owned place.
That's so good. That's all you need, right? I'm looking for a day trip because we're just trying to get out of the house on Sunday, so that may be where we go. Because we were going to go the other direction into Sacramento, but maybe that's all we'll do.
I mean, Sundays is Pac-12 football. What are you talking about?
I know, right? Well, at least I'll be able to listen to it on TuneIn.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? Did they reschedule something for Cal?
UCLA.
Yeah. Cal UCLA is Sunday. That's nimble.
If they get the truck there, right?
I'd just like to be the driver of the Cal equipment truck, just driving around California. Okay, where do I go?
Yeah, he probably hadn't even left, but he's like, everything's loaded. I just need to know where to go. Unfortunately, it's not like 12 hours to Tempe, right? It's only 8 south. So they could have left today, technically, which is even weirder because this was another thing that I saw. I guess it's like the O-line is like under quarantine. So like the rest of the team is traveling tomorrow on Saturday. But then like the O-line doesn't finish quarantine until like 2 a.m. So they have to like get on a plane like as soon as the timer goes. They go to Oakland, get on a plane, and then they play like a few hours later. So it's just like I don't know if that's indeed the case, but I'm like, how's it gonna work out? But
that's work out.
It is kind of funny because when ASU went to USC last weekend, I did notice that the coaches were not, because they have a hookup with the private planes.
Oh yeah.
So it was kind of funny to see that all the players were on the buses, and then all the coaches, it looked like they got off a private plane because there's the ASU alumni that owns a private jet company that's been hooking up ASU football team to let them like jet set on the private jets.
Got it. So the coaching staff is on the private jet, but the rest of the team is on the big plane.
Hey, I have no problem with that. I mean, I used to be like a semi-professional athlete back in the day.
Okay.
I mean, Herm's already put in the hours to fly in the private jet.
Right.
18-year-olds, I don't think they've put in the hours like Herm has.
They're okay too, because again, they're young and limber, and they can fit into those little chairs and sleep or whatever else it is. Whereas the coaches, and that's the other thing too. It's funny you put it that way, because all those coaches in some form or another have kind of made their money, right? So it's like it's almost as if they could kind of. It wouldn't surprise me if they could pool their own money and get their own plane anyway.
Yeah,
because they like I said, they've made their money, so they're able to. So that works.
That's the nice part about having NFL coaching staff. I mean, they've all got, if they took care of it, D. Haig and Pierce and whatever, they've probably, if they did smart, they're okay.
Mm-hmm. That's all you can ask for. What were you going to say, Nick?
I think like what Jeff was saying, like it's super impressive to see that NFL connection, because they're really working hard to instill that mindset to make the students be like to let them know what's going on, how to be fiscally responsible.
Oh, that's
and I
cool.
think that's what's missing in college football is, a lot of other programs aren't focused on that.
Right.
And I feel like our current program right now does instill that to like Merlin, to be like, hey, dude, you could be set for your life if you do things correctly,
exactly.
let us give you some insight. Here's how you plant. Obviously, with the NCAA, you gotta skate some lines, but they can at least give them some info of like, hey, you can be set for life even if you don't get to the NFL.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
know, you can just make smart financial decisions and
That's a huge thing.
support your family for years.
What were you
Yeah.
gonna say,
Well,
Jeff?
I was gonna say that's the funny thing, and like you look back a couple years back when they hired Herm, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's out of touch" and all that stuff. It's like Herm used to be almost like the keynote speaker at the NFL Players Association rookie forums. I mean, that's where his "Don't hit send" thing came from. Was he would speak at these rookie seminars where they talk about things like fiscal responsibility, but his famous "Don't hit send" was from one of those speeches that he was giving to the rookies back in, I mean, and I want to say it was like a long time ago, and it was really funny. I mean, and but yeah, they do those where, you know, they may not do a great job, but, you know, they talk about and they provide, you know, I guess you can, I'm sorry, I'm digressing here, but I think about the LaRussa nightmare and go, you know, you can give people all the resources possible, and if they still choose not to take advantage of them, there's nothing you can do. It's like, you know, LaRussa could have had access to any car service in the world, plus what he makes. He could have called an Uber, but no, he's going to go drive in Scottsdale and get a DUI. It just,
yeah.
I don't know.
Who said something about Pima Community College? Was that you, Jeff?
That was me.
No, Sim.
Oh, okay. So my buddy that actually lived at the house that I live in now, he went through Navy SEAL, the whole get up, and he got like medically discharged because he tore his hip flexor.
Oh man.
And they were like, "Oh well, we've already spent like millions of dollars on you. We're not gonna spend any more."
Right.
So it's kind of funny because he's golfing. I don't know next season, but he's at Pima Community College as a golfer, and it's hilarious because you look at his profile and he's like a Navy SEAL with the Navy SEAL beard, and it says freshman. You know, he's
27.
You know, 30. 32.
Oh man, the youngest golfing freshman out there.
Freshman, and it just shows a picture of a Navy SEAL.
That is he in uniform? Is that his profile picture, all in uniform as a SEAL? Or
no, but he skated the thing because for the NCAA, you can skip all the eligibility if you serve in the military.
Oh, really?
So he didn't have the 5 years. He basically skate the whole 5-year sort of thing if you served in the military. So he started fresh at Pima Community College.
That's wild. Did he try out anywhere else, or is that
he's trying to get on the PGA right now? So.
I was gonna say, was that like the one place that gave him a shot, or did he like reach out to multiple schools?
No, he just was like fed up with the military after spending 3 years in Navy SEAL training, and they just cut him.
No, but like, when he left, right, he got medically discharged, and he wanted to he wanted to play golf, right? Did he reach out to multiple schools to say, "Hey, I want to play golf. Give me a shot on your team"?
No, he had a connection in Tempe. He golfed like since he was like 6 or 7 years old. Okay. So he was always a good golfer. And then after he got discharged, he was like, maybe I should follow up on the golf thing. And then he got a scholarship at Pima. So
that's cool.
He was like, I guess I'm going to Pima.
And he's still playing. I mean, I guess I would imagine he's able to be distant with that sport.
Yeah, it's been a little weird with Corona.
Okay.
So that's like frustrating for him. But
I can only imagine. And he's living in.
I just keep telling him like I'm such a shitty golfer. I'm like, bro, I let you stay at my house for free for 6 months when you were going through Navy SEAL training. I'm like, you owe me a golf lesson.
And do you play, Jeff? I can't remember.
I play horribly. I play 4 times a year. Actually, although I did go out, I did go out and hit balls with my son on Wednesday.
Okay.
That's his other sport. So, but no, it's one of those things where I can't remember if I talked about this. My dad was a collegiate golfer.
Okay.
And but it's one of those things when when I was little, like my son's age, oh yeah, we'd go to the driving range all the time, whatever. But then you get into like high school and you're like, oh, I don't want to be like dad. I want to do other things, which he was totally fine with.
Exactly.
But I'm like, you look back at this point and go, holy crap, he was a great. I mean, he was a great golfer. He's it's like I wish I had, but fathers and sons.
Exactly.
You realize that like 20 years down the road when you're like, oh, I wish I was more like dad.
Oh, absolutely. And that was the best part about his, he retired and he coached high school golf for a little while. And then, when he retired, he played every day.
Wow.
It was his thing. It was great.
That is right.
He got to coach. He coached against Tiger when Tiger was in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They were in the high school that my dad coached was in the same high school league as Western, where Tiger went. And so
I was going to ask, so SoCal, that's where the schools were.
Yeah. Okay. It's Anaheim, Cypress, actually. Tiger grew up in Cypress. And it's like, it's crazy. And he's like, you never really saw galleries at high school golf matches, but you sure did with Tiger at that point. Even when Tiger was like a junior or senior in high school,
they were coming to see him.
Yeah. It was crazy. My dad thought it was hilarious.
Someone brought it up a couple months ago or a month ago about how golf, like, it doesn't really get respected. And they were talking about the uptick in golf in viewership when Tiger came along, and they were like, someone was talking about Pac-12 and Larry Scott, and how there was a huge uptick when Tiger came on the scene. And it was like, because I think Larry Scott might have been, because they were talking about Serena Williams when Larry was in charge of tennis.
Right.
And they were like, well, I don't think it was really Larry Scott. I think it was the fact that you had a superstar like Serena Williams or Tiger Woods, to where viewership just goes through the roof because everyone wants to watch this.
Yeah, Larry didn't do anything. That had nothing to do with that. He was lucky enough for a superstar to show up when he was there.
Yep.
And two superstars, because Serena and Venus were brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think there was a lot of people. So yeah, he just got really lucky. But anyway, yeah, that's actually, because again, he went to Stanford, so a lot of people were there as well. So I guess, for me, before we talk, because I don't play at all. Like dad played a lot again when he was in community college as well. But I did Top Golf for the very first time about 2 years ago, and hitting that driver, and when it hits and it connects, and we've talked about this, Jeff. I'm like, I get it. That's what you're chasing. It's that high. You just want to be able to get that drive. So I get it. I respect it, but I just
yes. I was telling my kid, it's like it's repetition. Golf is repetition and muscle memory. Once you learn how to swing a club, you just have to do it over and over and over and over again. And that's why it takes so long to perfect. But it's just one of those things where you just have to do it. And the more you do it, the better you get. If you got good form and whatever, it's just all about doing it over and over. And I just don't have time.
Yeah, I don't have the patience to drive my car, much less driving, a golf ball. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing that.
Hold on, I gotta put my kid's stuff rack. I'll be back in a second.
So yeah. So I feel you, Nick.
I gotta tell you my Top Golf story.
Yeah, please.
So my wife still gives me a hassle to this day.
Okay.
So one of my good friends that lives 2 houses away, he was a type 1 diabetic.
Okay.
And he went into a diabetic coma and went blind.
Oh man. Okay.
And he was in a coma for like months.
Oh man.
And then like 3 years ago, we went to a bachelor party, and he murdered me. Blind dude murdered me at Top Golf.
Really?
And my wife makes fun of me all the time. She was like, "You got murdered by a blind person." And I'm like, "Well, he's a good golfer." He's like, "But he's blind."
Exactly.
Like,
So it
like
was.
Jeff was just saying, he's got that muscle
It's
memory.
the muscle memory that
he
he
knows
needed.
how to connect.
Oh my gosh! And he's other than being blind physically, he's okay then.
He's right in your realm, dude. He is he works for the state of Arizona. He's a program coder.
Okay.
And they were actually really good with them, and he's a rock star.
That's
so
awesome.
Inspirational.
Good for him, man.
But when you get like really down on yourself, you're like, wait a second. I got a friend who went through a lot more than I went through.
Right. So he was type 1 in the hospital for 3 months. I mean, how long was his rehab? I mean, I can only imagine how long that took.
Probably 2 years. He had to have a hip replacement. He had to, I mean, he went through the whole gamut.
Really?
He's married now. He has 2 kids, like
right on.
Super inspirational.
How old is he?
You're like 31.
Okay. Wow. So he had to go through a lot very young then.
Yeah, that happened to him when he was about 23.
Wow.
And then he went through that and then found a super hot wife and has had multiple kids.
There you go. Good for him, man.
So
that's so cool.
You're like, dude.
And then
keep on rocking.
Yeah, so he's blind. So then get picked up, or does he have a service, or how does that how does he get from work and home? Well, I guess he's probably not working now.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually haven't talked to him during Rona.
Okay.
But they were always really he's such a good programmer that they don't really care. Like,
yeah, that's true.
It's like as long as you get your stuff done,
exactly.
which it blows my mind.
As long as the code works.
Like that was what helped him, was like falling back on computer programming.
Right on.
He just took that up and was like, I could be super sorry for myself, or I could just become a better programmer. And then he's in like super high demand.
That's so cool.
And no one even cares that he's blind because he's
because he can do it. And that's the other thing too. I think that's gonna that's his trade, for lack of a better word, right? But then again, it can turn into something a lot more where you can demand a lot more money too, which will be good. You'd be all over the place. Everyone in Silicon Valley would want him.
Have you always lived in California? Like, did you just come out here for school and then?
No. So born and raised in Tucson. Transferred to ASU in 95, right? And then graduated September 98. No, August 98. And then September 1st, 98, packed everything up and moved here. September 1998, and have been here ever since. So
I did have one question for you.
Sure.
Because working for ASU, I always get like nervous to post anything.
Okay.
I think I might have sent this to you like on Twitter. I'm super like conservative.
That's fine. I understand.
You're a lot more like.
There's a few people that do that, so you're not the only one, so it's okay.
But how do you like? It always made me curious. Like when you just did the alumni thing, like has no one ever said anything about your questionable tweets? Like, no. Do they ever? They don't even bring it up, or do they not even know?
No, they know. It's interesting you say that, right? Because they are aware of my tweets, wherever they may be. Andrew, how you doing, Mr. Taylor? Always lovely to see you in the chat. So, everyone sees my tweets, right? But because I am not affiliated with the university, a lot of people they're okay with it, right? Because like with the alumni event, as long as I'm not talking the way I talk on my timeline, right, then they're okay with it, right? But I have gotten feedback, right, in conversations where people just come up and they're like, thank you for saying this or that or whatever else, because I can't, because I'm affiliated with the university, but I thank you for putting it out there, right? And it's just like, I try to, I mean, it's just, for me, sometimes it gets too extreme. Sometimes it's, sometimes I know it's annoyed a lot of people, but I mean, it's just, I'm going to put it out there in some form or another because that's my personality. I'm not writing checks I can't cash. If I was doing that, then I think I'd be in a bigger world of hurt. But as long as I'm putting out there what I believe in, then people usually tend to not have a problem with it. So I've been lucky that way.
That's insightful, because I've always wanted to get like more involved on like Twitter, right, different social media platforms, but being, like you said, an affiliate.
Yeah.
It just, you're always like, who knows if Dr. Crow sees this? Maybe they'll fire me tomorrow.
And that's the other thing too, right? So that's why I kind of don't tell people professionally about who I am. I think people are, so there is one customer that works for um, a major bank, headquartered in, not headquartered, they're headquartered here in San Francisco, but they have a large facility down in South Chandler, Queen Creek area. And so there's one customer that knows of this persona, Jedi ASU. But a lot of my customers, a lot of a lot of my coworkers, I don't think my director, who's a very close friend of mine, knows it, but he doesn't bring it up. So there's professionally, I keep it distant on purpose, right? Because I, like you said, I don't want it to be um, coming back to haunt me professionally. But again, I'm not putting anything out there that I'm not putting anything out there that I don't believe in, but I'm also not putting stuff out there that I can't cash, that my mouth can't cash.
To be honest, Ralph always freaks me out because Ralph saves everything. That's my biggest thing. I'm like, oh, if I make a mistake, Ralph's gonna have a receipt.
I'm waiting for him to throw a receipt in my way too, so that's why I'm careful too. But if Ralph's a dear friend, but that's what he does. I mean, he has a steel trap for that, and it's one of the interviews I did with him. He kind of details how to find those receipts, and so it was funny. The one story, I don't know if you saw that on a previous show, but I was like talking to him about, how in the hell do you track people down or find them? And he's like, well, you just kind of look at their older tweets, who are they tweeting at, who they're connecting to, and everything else. And he just told this one story about how this kind of random anonymous account tweeted at his wife after him and Ralph had a back and forth. And so he was out. He one of the things he does is go to the movies to kind of clear his mind, escape the moment and everything else. And so instead of going to the movie, he was on his phone for 3 hours hunting this person down, and eventually found him, and it was actually someone who was associated to one of the school districts. So he was actually able to say, "Look, you need to cut this out and everything else because I know who you are, I know where you're at." I think he sent him an email directly to proving, hey, I know who you are. So yeah, Ralph's brilliant at that. So yeah, that's why I said that's why I don't want to tweet anything my mouth can't cash, because if it happens, then Ralph's gonna come after me. Like,
yeah, he'll know instantly. He'll spend. I mean, the person that sent that tweet probably spent way too much time creating a fake account, but
exactly.
I don't have any fake accounts.
And that's the other thing.
And I don't tweet that much.
Well, to your point, right, on like you were saying, how to get into it. So for me, I've had this account for almost 11 years. So I've had this thing for 11 years. I haven't shown my face until the past year. And that was because one, I didn't want my face out there, but two, I just kind of liked the anonymity. But I think if you're able to create a different account that has a catchy name, and then you just go ahead and you're tweeting out there and not being very diligent about not connecting your personal account that you have now to that other account, you can do it. You can build a side persona and still be able to be out there and involved without it getting back to you. It's work. I mean, I probably could do it, but I'm a little too lazy because I just don't. It's like, oh, what account is it and this and that, but possible. I mean, I've seen it done. So burner accounts are everywhere. But anyway,
I do appreciate like how you keep your kids out of things. Like I thought, I don't have a kid yet. Hopefully sometime soon.
Right.
But I do appreciate that you like keep that anonymity.
Did we all say hi to Sherry Brooks?
Hey Sherry, how are you?
Sherry.
You're right, and that was important for me too, right? Because I know that some people are comfortable doing that, especially on Facebook, and I did that for a little while. But on Twitter, I was very mindful of keeping that separate, and so they're getting a little older. I mean, I've shown a few pictures of them on occasion, but no, especially when they're younger. It was very important for me to keep them disconnected. I think I only shared a picture of all of us as a family. I don't think it was until last year when the School of Engineering interviewed me. and it was for the picture I used was from my daughter's quinceañera, and so I think that's the only time I think I've actively put them out there, purpose. So no, but thank you for that. No, I appreciate that.
Well, that's a
by design.
Proud moment, I think, for you.
It was good. Well, it was.
It'd be very hard not to share that.
Well, it was interesting. I think in the article it kind of said that, right, where Jack Jones kind of had his struggles, and I was very interested to see how well he was doing. And the School of Engineering got wind of it. And why are you kind of why are you so obsessed with it? And it's like, well, I shared my story, at a high level, and then I was sitting at Oakland Airport when we could travel and get on an airplane, and so they interviewed me in the airport, and so then that's what ended up being in the article. So it was like I said so as I said in the article, for lack of a better word, that's why again I'm so fiercely loyal to ASU's because ASU literally saved my life. They helped catch my diet, my depression helped catch me when I was suicidal, and so when at that time, got me the resources, got me in the right direction. Here I am.
That was a great article, by the way.
Thank you.
It was.
Thank you.
Hey, Rob, I know the last thing you want is me pitching you more ideas.
No, I want to hear them.
But I would, I think there are probably a lot of people, especially in our little group, that would love to hear people, men talk about, male depression or, anxiety disorders, things like that have been so taboo for so long that would it can be immensely helpful to people.
It's in the book of ideas. It's in the book
of
ideas.
Good.
It was
Good.
What was it? There was something that came up. It was some mental. I don't know if it was a mental health day or someone committed suicide, or it was recently where I'm like, okay, we got to turn this. It just needs to be talked about more. Like you said, it's a taboo.
Absolutely.
That has to absolutely be addressed and everything else. And so that's been one of my goals as well, because one of my things was to be able to help kids with that, because I work with youth group in my church, right? Because I'm Catholic as well. So I work with the confirmation groups, and I also work with the middle school age. So there's always these stories, like you said, Jeff, about anxiety and depression and everything else. So giving them a platform to be able to talk, I think, is definitely one of the things that
I think it's important.
Yeah, Nick, you were going to say.
It is so weird because it is taboo, but just speaking with you three, we every single, it feels like every person goes through this, and it's like, what? Why can't you talk about this?
Why can't you talk about it? And that's the other thing too for me. I mean, because that's how I just threw it out there. It's like, yeah, I was suicidal, right? I do have and it's like, but I mean, I owned it a long time ago, because in this way I can talk about it. And it was really back in the late 1900s, people still weren't comfortable about me bringing it up in public, and I'm like, that's who I am. It's who made me who I am, and it's a struggle that I had to go through. So yeah, I think everyone has, like you said, Nick, everyone has a story, right? Being able to share it and own it, I think, is much more powerful because it's out there.
Bringing up Jackie, that's a good thing, because he's gone through a lot of battles, and I mean, he's a total success story. So
Jackie, who is this again?
Jack Jones.
Oh yeah, I mean, I look forward to meeting him and just kind of congratulating him on his success, because I know it's not the best way for this season to go for them and with everything else, but I mean, I'm absolutely.
It's a freebie. Somebody said it today, and I don't know if it wasn't Doug Howler, maybe it was Jeff Metcalf. We're just saying it's like, well, it's basically like spring ball.
Yes.
You get in as much as you can, and then wait for next season.
Yep, that's all you can.
And they're gaining weight. Like they're gonna be on fire next season. So I'm not that disappointed as long as they stay healthy. It's like even with Jaden, like Jaden will gain 10 pounds between this season and next season.
Him at 200 pounds. Oh my goodness.
I know. One more year, he's going to be a grown-ass man.
Yeah, it'd be crazy to have him there. And I mean, that's the other thing too. I know it may be too much to ask for, Chase or Jack or even Merlin to stay an extra year, but they have another year. I mean, God willing, they all pull a Remy and they all come back, right? Then it'd be like, then everyone would be buzzed about it.
I did see, I think that's one of the things I'm most disappointed about is I love football, but living so close to campus, every single basketball game, I could just like ride my bike down to campus.
Oh, that's cool.
I had like a little app that you could get like free tickets or whatever. I had a subscription, and it's like I just would go down, like wife goes to sleep,
Right.
and especially like Pac-12 after dark, sort of like
game.
It's like the games kick off at like 9 or 10 p.m. or something. So it's like, oh, I'll just ride down to campus and jump in and watch the first half or the second half.
It's funny too because I don't think they're going to be giving away tickets anymore. It's going to be a hot ticket.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to want we get to say that everyone is going to want an ASU basketball ticket now. That's exciting to see.
Yeah, they're going to wish they hadn't covered up those seats.
Yeah, well, I thought those panels were down though. I thought
did they pull them
I thought they were removed now, so like all of it's exposed. Like for the first time in decades, it was all like every single set is available.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's gonna.
Well, that's what I loved when they tore those down, because actually, even at the top level, like you could sit in the last seat, you could still see perfectly well, and I'm like, I'll take that top row.
Exactly. And if no
I
one's
can
there,
go watch a little.
Just worm your way.
Better than watching on the Pac-12 network.
That a lot of people don't have anyway.
Yeah, I had to sit up there for my graduation, so it's probably the last time I was up in those.
Yeah, because that's interesting too. Because for what school?
Just the general.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm a December grad, so they don't do a lot of the individual school graduations in December. They do like a big one, and so they did it all in the activity center.
That's right. They say
as the old timers like to call it.
School of whatever. Please stand up.
But
graduate.
Okay. Spent most of the time in the restroom because I'd been up drinking. Wasn't feeling.
Sounds like both of you guys went to your graduations.
Did. So I was part of the first.
Not me.
Yeah, I was part of the first graduating class at ASU East before it was Polytechnic. Oh. Yeah. So we were in the old theater. It was an old, it was an Air Force base. So it was the old movie theater, has a stage and everything. And so we were in there. It smelled dusty and everything else, but we were part of that. So I did that one. So I had to do that one. And then I did the big one actually walked in May, even though I graduated in August. So
yeah. But yeah. And my daughter started at Poly, moved to main campus, and is one of these days going to finish online.
Okay. Yeah, because I was living on Main because I was still taking classes on Main, but I'd drive way in the hay out. It seemed like forever driving out to East, but now, given all the construction, it doesn't seem like it's very far anymore. Because I just remember from the 60 all the way down the base, it was just fields. There weren't even houses there. Now there's all kinds of craziness out there.
I just remember. I mean, like I said, I graduated in '89, so the drive was like, oh, let's go to Metro Center, and it's like, okay, it's like pack a meal because it's a long trip.
That's a day trip. Trip. I remember when I was living in Tempe, it's like, I don't need to go to Metro Center. I mean, when I was in Tucson, I'm like, oh yeah, Metro Center, blah blah blah, but I didn't realize how far north and west it was from everything else. So.
Yeah.
They closed now.
That's they closed, which is weird because the west side's been growing so much. I guess it's just the loss of indoor malls.
It's not the malls anymore. It's what is it? The what are they called now?
Lifestyle centers.
Thank you. Lifestyle centers.
Yeah. Well, and they do. Yeah, it's an outdoor mall, and I mean, I want to say it was one of those things that they were just starting to get into at ASU, when I was out there, because I was actually part of the real estate program, and they were talking about certain things that didn't work in Arizona, development wise, and one of them, and I forget what it's called. It's where the Fuddrucker. It was right across from Packers, where the Fuddruckers and yeah, Sherry. Hey, Sherry, I think we were in the college business at the same time. I think you, me, and Paul all were. But it's 2 stories. There were and the I forget what the center was
cornerstone.
called.
It's a cornerstone right there.
Cornerstone.
Rural and University. Thank you.
And that's what they talked about. They're like, well, this center doesn't do well because in Arizona, people aren't willing to walk upstairs because there's so much land. People are just used to driving up and parking in front of where they go. And now everything is high-rise multi-use.
Yep.
Because land has become so difficult. And I had teachers who swore to God that Del Webb was crazy building on the west side because people would never drive into the sun to go to work because everyone had to work in Phoenix.
Oh, look at you.
You'd have to drive into the sun to go to work and into the sun to come home. They said it'll never work. You'll never see serious development west of Phoenix because people don't want to do that. But when you realize east of, any further east, you run into the reservations and you can't grow that way.
Right.
Phoenix had no choice but to grow
that direction.
So
for some
people
reason,
people dealt with
it. Yeah, exactly. Because they weren't building south into Queen Creek and all that yet. They are now, but they weren't at the time.
No.
Queen Creek doesn't even matter anymore. Now you're going further. It's Santan.
Yeah, that's true.
I have coworkers that drive over an hour to get to Tempe campus.
Yeah, so
that's
Nick,
that's like LA distance traffic.
Yeah.
You were gonna say
might as well live in Tucson.
I have to be out there in a week and a half. Am I gonna catch the Rona and die, or
why are you going?
Kid's got a tournament.
Oh.
In what sport?
Hockey.
Ooh. Oh, speaking of hockey, how excited are you guys for the approval for the new hockey arena?
That's going to be done
briefly. Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful.
That is so good. That's just like we were talking about. It just it's such a huge anchor for the program, but also for the university because there's no one in the West like that other than Denver, but then they're more central. But there's no one in the West like ASU that's going to be established like that. So that's going to be cool. When are they breaking ground though?
December.
Is it? So it's going to be wow.
Like right now they're breaking ground. So I think the plan is they're going to be open August 2022, I believe, before they finish construction. It'll be operational, and then it'll probably take another year for them to finish things up.
So yeah, we only have to do technically one more hockey season in Oceanside.
Yeah.
Before.
Wow.
Because it was going to be 2. It was going to be this season and next season, but this season's all on the road. So technically, it's just everything at Oceanside will be 2021, 22 season, and then we should be in.
Wow.
And I just know what I read, but apparently the firm that they chose to build it isn't the one that originally got it. And it's the one that they chose is the firm that's building the new Kraken arena up in Seattle.
Wow.
And they've got a bunch of projects, and they're known for being amazingly innovative. Shocker. But coming in under budget. That's their hallmark. Is they put it out. I want to say they built the Raiders stadium out in Vegas.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So,
I think.
but that's what they're famous for is innovation and coming in under budget. So it should be pretty cool.
That is cool.
And if you don't, I mean, Jeff, maybe you kind of like cue yourself in, but I mean, the Novus corridor or whatever they want to call it is phenomenal. I love that concept. I think they're spot on with the development that they're doing.
It's the lifestyle center.
I hate to see Karsten go away, but Papago is a great golf course and it's super scenic. So I also hate to see the baseball stadium go away, but I think there's big things coming, and I'm kind of excited to see.
ASU's always, at least for me, ASU's always been a walking campus. And the only thing and I raised this question a billion years ago with I like purposely put this guy's name out of my brain. The old AD after Lisa, but before Ray.
Oh yes, of course. Well, we won't say his.
And he was talking about, and that's when they were first talking about redeveloping Sun Devil Stadium, because I think he actually started it and then Ray inherited it.
Okay.
But there was never any thought given to tailgating.
Right.
And you talk, and I remember I just happened to be in a thing where he was at and he was taking questions from me, and somebody else was like, is there going to be any place, because you start talking about like tailgating or sailgating at Tennessee or up in Washington, right, or it's like, can we have something? And it was just like glass-eyed. They just didn't care about it. And I think that's the only thing that ASU is truly missing, is like that pre-game tailgating, whatever. Because when I was there, it was go to the Dash, go to the Vine. The Vine has a trolley.
Right.
You take the trolley to the game. And I'm dating myself again. At halftime, you run across the street to Mind Your Binders or whatever, Bandersnatch or whatever it was.
Oh,
it was
right. Yep.
right outside the front gate, pound drinks, run back into the stadium, and that was it. And you never had like that, tailgate culture, which I think is pretty, even some of these crappy schools have great tailgates. And that's kind of one of the things that I think we miss out on at ASU.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at the plan right now, and there's definitely no space for tailgating, right? There's like a little bit of lot 59 left over. I think there's a little bit over there of the lot to the east of the Butte, I think, is left over. But it doesn't look like there's much consideration for tailgating at all.
Well, and I know Dr. Crow doesn't particularly like tailgating. And it doesn't have to be like a booze fest, because there's plenty of people that can go tailgating without having a sip of booze and just play cornhole.
Right.
And you get in that like mindset. So it doesn't, I think that sometimes they're a little worried that it's going to turn into some huge, like crazy party.
Right.
And it's like, no, we just want some sort of camaraderie before we go into the stadium. It includes some drinking activities. Okay. But, that's not the goal. It's more just to have that camaraderie as, people that are supporting the team.
ASU is surrounded by bars. I don't know why anybody would want to be worried about drinking. I think that's kind of it's kind of a given for ASU.
Right. And I can't remember who said that too. And it was one of the shows, but someone was saying is like, Michael Crow is fighting the specter of the ASU party school reputation that we had forever. Right. And I think that's why he's like abs.
And you know what? That's
which is like, I understand, but like to your point,
it's okay. I guess it's okay. Hey, he can, you know what? With the trajectory he's got us on, as long as he doesn't call for a dry campus,
Fair.
I think he's going to do just fine, and we'll figure out our way. But I've got enough friends that have real good tailgates at the Southern, either the SC or UCLA games that I can partake in, and I'll go watch Cal play UCLA just because my buddy's got a fantastic tailgate at UCLA, and I'll get my fix there, and we'll never make it into the game. We'll sit and watch the ASU game on TV, sitting out on the in front of the Rose Bowl.
That's funny too. Watch us innovate the remote tailgate, right? We can't tailgate at home, but our best tailgates are at your campus.
You did. You innovated the watch party. Come on, that was fun.
Thank you. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I was really looking forward to having one this weekend, and
I know, but much better hour.
Yes, at a much more reasonable hour. We would have been a little bit more awake. And then I was hoping for it for Colorado, but then with all this nonsense, who knows if we'll even get Colorado. So,
hey, to be honest, I was really worried about that Colorado game.
Really?
So
they looked good.
It's going to be cold. It's going to be so cold. It feels like a trap game if we have to go there. Like I'm already like nervous if we have to play that game in Colorado. Like
Colorado is efficiently
cold fingers.
They score.
Super cold.
Who do they play? UCLA? They were playing
They
UCLA.
kicked their butt.
Colorado knows how to score. I don't know what it is, but they know how to score real well. And that, like you said, Nick, that's what concerns me too. Outside of the cold, they just look efficient.
But I guess the
running back, I keep going back to our running backs. They looked phenomenal.
Oh, so good.
I'm so stoked.
We were just laughing at some of the runs that they were knocking out. We just couldn't. We were so thrilled with what they were able to do. I mean, they were the strength. Everyone thinking, oh, the wide receiver core is going to be it. And it's like, no, the running backs are really going to carry us. They're really
I'll give a pass to Johnny, the 6'7" guy with Johnny Wilson. Is that his name?
Wilson.
I'll give a pass for him. He's a freshman. You know, he had some pretty tight coverage, but the running backs, they just like Chip was like crushing it. He's so a beast. Good. And Rashad White, like he's so smooth. I mean,
they were just a brilliant, and it was the other thing too. You watched it, and if I remember this, they could do whole series with just one or the other. They don't have to like bounce back and forth. It's like, okay, we're going to smash mouth you now. Next time we get the ball, we're going to finesse you, right? So yeah, it was, because it wasn't at the beginning. It's just the O-line was finally opening up those holes for him as the game progressed, which was good. It's just,
you were concerned at the first part of the game with the O-line, were you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You were like, oh crap, this might be bad. And then they started to get things together and
they
open up some gaps.
clicked exactly like, oh, okay. So yeah, the first 56 minutes were brilliant.
Yes.
Amazing. The first 56 minutes.
To lose because of a special teams breakdown. I mean, granted, we lost on a tipped ball in the end zone, which was a little bit. I'm not going to say it's the same, but it's a little bit of Hail Mary payback.
Yeah, that's what some people told me.
To lose based on that and a special teams breakdown.
Yeah,
that's what hurt the most. It's like I thought we played for first game of the season against a strong opponent, not having a NAU or some, no offense NAU, but not having an NAU to warm up against.
Right.
But I'll tell you, and I think you've said this numerous times, I miss the opportunity to watch what the BYU game would have been.
Yeah.
That would have been.
A full spring, a full season, a full off season of conditioning, a full fall practice. That BYU game would have been. It would have been
spectacular.
It would have been really good. It would have done nothing for my heart, but it would have been fantastic.
No. I would have wanted to die, but
it would have ended up being so. That's why it'll be. We'll see what they have next year, but I mean.
See how it is. And which is a shame, because I figured we were going to lose Jaden after next year anyway. It's just a shame we don't get him limited Jaden this year.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think we're going to. There were 170,000 new cases of COVID today in the United States. I don't think
170.
I don't think we're making it to the finish line, guys. I really don't.
Well, we're giving it the old American try.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, which is a little sad, but
that's why Brad and I talk a lot, and he was like, "You need to move this U of A ASU game up fast.
Yeah,
forget everything else. Have the Territorial Cup Thanksgiving week, and then end the rest of the season." I'm like,
yeah,
I can get behind that.
Yeah, we need to figure out what's going to happen, because this is my own little whatever. Just I'm equating what's going on right now to Halloween. I'm saying that's
what I think some people are saying.
I'm worried for 2 weeks. I'm deathly afraid of 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. Deathly afraid of this country just shutting down. It's going to be bad.
Everyone's talking about it. I mean, other countries are already doing it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of, are we able to? And that's always a back and forth. It's just going to be, numbers are going to be incredible.
And yeah, the numbers are going to be crazy. And if you look at, it's like I'm a dichotomy, because I'm in the hospitality industry, and the instant we shut down, my job's at risk kind of thing. But if we don't shut down, this thing is going to keep dragging and dragging and dragging. And when you do shut down, it's like California. When we shut down, you give it 2, 3, 4 weeks and cases drop.
Yeah.
And then we had a little spike after 4th of July, and we had to shut down in later July. And then things were great, and then everyone got together, did a little Labor Day party.
Relaxed, yep.
And I mean, it's going to be one of these things where we just somebody needs to suck it up and say 3 weeks of just. But I'm still the person that says if we had worn masks beginning April Fool's Day and made it a mandate, we would be having all of the things that we love so much would be going on right now.
There's there was a lot of stuff missing. You were going to say
so Nick. as like California folks, how do you feel moving more north, like from where you guys are versus like San Diego? What do you think? What do you think the differences are between Northern California and San Diego? Because it seems like San Diego's been pretty good. I don't know if it's the outdoor lifestyle or something.
In terms of a place to live, or in terms of COVID?
COVID.
No, they just shut down. San Diego just shut down. They just closed all. San Diego County just closed everything this last week. They have it worse than a lot of places.
And so, in the Bay Area, my county is actually throttling back on opening up. So they're actually throttling back bars and restaurants. So that's happening here as well. Now, if you look at a map of California, even though the Bay Area calls themselves Northern California, we're still not. We're still probably a good 5 hours away from the Oregon border.
Oregon border.
So we're actually we're still kind of mid central. But mid-north central. But anyway, Northern California is like, that's where it's like there's a lot fewer people. There's not the huge population densities that you have like in this area. So it depends right where you're at. So it's always the population centers. It's always going to be the population centers. And then like we're seeing, it gets to the rural areas like the North and South Dakotas and everything else. So if it's just going to be that constant, that constant flux, like okay, here the rural centers, and then okay, the rural centers comes down, but then the population centers. So I listened to this podcast called Epidemic, and I've retweeted them a few times, and they were talking about lockdowns on a dimmer, in the sense that depending on where you are, based on your numbers, you have to lock down for X amount of days. If you're not, then you don't have to, right? So again, so it really it relies on human participation, which is, I guess, the biggest way to hamstring us. So,
do you guys have any friends in Europe?
Yeah.
Thus far, well.
No, I do. I have one of my very best friends lives in Switzerland.
Yeah. How do you feel? That's exactly the country I was talking about, because I have a very good friend in Switzerland.
What's he saying?
They, from what I've heard, they can do whatever they want. They're locking things down now that cases are going up again. Right. But like they've been going out to restaurants.
Yeah.
They've had almost no lockdowns, and it's very confusing. Like living in America, you're like, wait, you went to a restaurant? What? That makes no sense.
Well, I think to your point, right? I think it's, and they've documented this as well, is that other countries like Europe, and especially, the Asian countries, they're much more mindful of, okay, this is what I need to do, to help the greater good. Whereas here in the States, it's very individualistic, right? It's like, okay, how does it help me? It doesn't necessarily, I don't care if it helps everyone else. So I think, when you're doing that in a European country, then they're able to be, okay, this is what we have to do temporarily, right? And so, but that also gives them the flexibility, like you were saying, you can go to a restaurant and eat out. But now it's like, okay, everything's spiking. This is what we have to revert to. So I think it's just a cultural thing that I don't know how, as we as Americans, are going to do it, since everyone is very, like, very individualistic. But hopefully it comes from the top down.
We're trying at least.
Yeah. As long as we're trying and everyone else we know is trying, that's all we can do. And that's my biggest thing right now. It's like California, the governor just put out a travel advisory.
I know.
You see that? And so I'm like,
well, it's funny. I was just texting with my son's mom because she took him to practice.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be traveling out Thanksgiving weekend to Arizona. And I'm like, is everybody okay with the fact that the governor is suggesting that when we come back that we self-quarantine for 14 days? And she's like, everybody's just laughing about it. And I'm like, all right.
Wow. Yeah, that's devastating. Because now I'm like, I don't even know if my parents were thinking about driving up for Christmas. Now I don't know if they can do that, right? Because again, I don't think they have a problem quarantining there in Tucson, but then driving up and then having to go through all that, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's concerning.
Well, but is it safer for them to be in your neck of the woods than in their neck of the woods?
That's the other thing too that I don't know, right? And it's like, because it's when they come and visit, it's not like we're going to be going, because usually we take them to downtown San Francisco or we go all these other places, and when they get here, it's like we're not going anywhere. Like even then, it's just like grocery store and back. I mean, it's not going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Get out. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I think about it. And I miss my folks, but they wouldn't be able to leave their house right now if they were still around. And my dad would do it because of my mom, and he would want to just kill himself for not being able to go play golf, and he'd rationalize it at a time, and then he would call me and I'd go, Mom, and he'd go, okay, I'm not leaving the house.
Right.
But it would kill them right now, but they would have to. And I worry about people's parents. I worry about people with pre-existing conditions. It's like, and I guess I'm a little lucky here, somewhat in Orange County. I mean, I don't know, in the minority, but I dropped my kid off at school today. I went to the grocery store, and everybody, wearing a mask. Everybody looked okay.
That's cool.
But
yeah.
And I did have to call the police on Halloween parties.
You did?
I didn't want the negative Nancy, but it was getting a little ridiculous in Tempe here.
Wow, so you actually had house parties you had to deal with.
So on our street, not to rag on you guys, but some California parents like to buy houses for their children that are, freshmen and sophomores and in life, and they like to throw massive parties. And I happen to live across the street from a frat house.
Man.
It gets kind of ridiculous, and I try to be pretty nice to them, but when they were having like 100 people over, I was
Holy
like,
shit.
I'm gonna phone this into the hotline. The police down.
No wonder we got zinged. Not because someone was at that party, but because there's all this uncontrolled spread. Who knows where that went to relative to everyone else, whether they be on the team or someone on the campus or whatever else it is. I'm like, gosh dang.
Yeah, and it's hard. Like my father-in-law needs a kidney transplant. So like for things when we're all getting tested, it's like we have to be careful because he's one of those vulnerable people. And so it's like, well, do we say don't come or just make sure we all get tested? Or it's not like we're having a party, but you do want to see family at some point.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
So it's like you're trying to balance it, and you're like, hey, stop having the parties.
Exactly. And, cut it out so the rest of us can hang out.
Because we're just going to go get tested and make sure that we're all safe, and we could just have a regular Thanksgiving that's not crazy. But
exactly.
I do need to see my in-laws at some point because I miss them like immensely.
How long has
it been?
How long has it been since you've seen them though? Or do you see them?
We've seen them about once per month. I mean, we have like a group of, I'd say 10 to 12 people that we've been in contact with, and that's it.
Yeah, you have your little.
They're all like close friends.
Yeah, you have family friend bubbles that you trust. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're all like responsible, and it's like, well, we've all got tested like 3 or 4 times each.
Right.
So it's like we're not going anywhere crazy. We're not having a party. It would be nice to make a turkey for someone.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like you love seeing.
But then you're like, I don't want to take an unnecessary risk. They'll drop off turkey and I'll have a Zoom. As unfortunate as that sounds.
Exactly. Now, is Jeff, are your you said dropped them off at school. Schools are open down there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they just opened. Yeah, it's weird. Orange County we've been pretty good. LA City, LA County has not reopened.
Yeah.
We did remote learning up until the 1st of November.
Okay.
And then he's on a hybrid schedule. He's on campus 4 days a week, but just for 2 hours in the afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And I mean, we'll see how it goes. We'll see if they keep it up. We haven't heard any, but I mean, my kid's a very social kid, and this limited interaction is so helpful with his mental state right now. It's almost like the lesser of two evils.
Okay.
But yeah, he's doing okay, and he enjoy. He was trying to describe it to me, and he's not allowed to break. I asked him to take a picture, but he's not allowed to break his phone out in class.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So, but he says they basically have little plexiglass cubies around them, around each desk, and they go to class for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and then they literally go stand in an area while they disinfect the class.
Yeah.
Now, in engineer mind, Jedi, I'll leave this one to you. So think about this one. It's like, okay, so middle school, they go from class to class, not like elementary school.
Right.
And so when they change classes, they have to stop and disinfect the entire thing. Mm-hmm. Would it be simpler if the teachers just changed the class and you only had to disinfect the teacher area?
Oh,
and
I see what you're saying.
Kids stayed in their own little area. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but
they're working harder, not smarter.
The son of an industrial engineer from Stanford kind of goes, huh? Wouldn't it be? If my dad was around right now, if he was alive, he would be going ballistic at all these silly things that they do. He was always that kind of guy that's like, why are they doing it this way?
That's a kind of efficiency design, though, that schools need help with, though.
Yeah, and it's shocker, and it's funny because I don't know if I think we've talked about this, but my son and Kyle Murphy's daughter go to the same school.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah. So me and Kyle DM every once in a while, and we're like scratching our heads, like, what the?
Yeah, they're not thinking that through too well.
Hey Jedi, are you got your Lean 6 certification?
What's that? No. Lean 6? I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
That was I lost my Lean 6 certification back in high school.
Oh, so you were ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I had it for like maybe a year and a half when I was playing basketball. Maybe 2 years, and then it just went back. But yes, but it's all about dropping weight now. That's kind of like we were talking about my knee. I just need to drop weight. So
it's amazing. It's like it's funny. I started about 2 years ago, and I did the not true keto, but just tried to cut out as much unrefined carbs as possible.
Okay.
So I've, the no pasta for me. It's no pasta, no rice. It's hard for me to cut out, a lot of sugar because there's a lot of, sugar in booze.
Yeah.
But that helped me. I know everybody's different, but just cutting out the only thing I couldn't live without was tortillas.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, the process. So I've done the no carbs thing. I've been able to cut them out for dinner. It's just for me. It's not necessarily what it is or when it is. It's just volume. It's the amount.
That's tough.
It's like, okay, I have to, and just even by saying it, I have to cut or reduce or anything else like that. It's just I have to even just eat smaller portions, right? I think that's really where I have to get to. Because I've done it before. A couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I had uncontrolled diabetes and I dropped like 40 pounds in like 2 months. And so I was like, okay. And I'm like, all right, this is cool and everything else. And I went and got a physical and he's like, yeah, your blood sugar number was like a 410.
Yeah.
So you got to take all this stuff and change your diet. And so then I did it and I was that was my goal in 6 months. And so my goal was to be off the meds, but I was able to do it in 6 months. I mean, I didn't have a goal of 6 months. I was like, I just had to be militant, and I was militant. I know I can do it again. It's just, I'm entering in the holidays, and there's also all this kind of so much good food and desserts and everything else. It'll be tough.
Did I owe you? I promised you a bike cleaning video.
Oh, that'll be cool. Yeah, my bikes are on the rack right now, so actually that'll be timely because I mean, it's doing well, but I got to definitely get some miles on it soon. I got an injection in my knee today, so the doc's like, yeah, don't exercise for a few days. All right.
Rob, I wanted to thank you. I took your suggestion on the bike racks and bought them on Amazon. They're great.
Did you? Cool.
Yeah.
They're like the Da Vinci's or whatever they're called, right?
Yeah, your setup's pretty good.
Thank you.
You got it going on.
Yeah, I was really happy with those. I wanted one of those fancy ones where you pull and it just lifts up and it's all crazy. I'm like, that's a little too much.
I'm fine.
Yeah, just put it up there. And so Padawan 2's getting to. He's not at the height yet to kind of twist it off yet, so he'll get there though. So, but yeah, so I'm really happy how that turned out. And then like one of the bottom wheel popped off, so Padawan 2's always just like doing a bunch of rubber marks on the drywall here, so I had to finally screw it back in. I'm like, okay, now he can't do that anymore.
That's funny.
But that's what he's doing. I'll be on a call and he'll just come in here and just spin the pedal. I'm like, okay, man. Well, all I'm doing is listen. I'm just listening, right? It's like, and then he'll like look at me. It's like, are you on a call? It's okay. Doesn't matter. I'm not talking anyway. I'm just listening.
I muted myself. It's
okay. Exactly. So it was good, but I'm glad you were able to come on, Nick. I know we've been talking and DMing back and forth, but I'm glad you were able to be part of the best damn social club in the universe. I'm glad you were part of it, man.
Yeah, me too. I actually gotta go. My buddy, I gotta wake up at 5 to go. My buddies are on EK race tomorrow. So
right on.
I said, little bitch.
Well, all the best, man. Well, no, I'm glad you did. I mean, we've done 2 hours, so I can't appreciate you guys enough. I know I was struggling to start this one, but I'm glad we did it, and it makes me feel better. I think I've moved on past the anger stage where I was at earlier.
Are we into acceptance at this point?
I think I'm at acceptance now. It's just I had to go through all those cycles, so I'm glad we did it together at least.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you, Jeff.
You too, Nick. Take care, man.
And everyone in the chat, absolutely thank you for spending time with us. Shout out to Andrew Taylor. Thank you, guys. Also, Andrew Taylor wanted to agree with everything you said about just being responsible in March, right? And how we would have been able to have everything we wanted to now. But yeah. Andrew was absolutely in agreement there. All About Hockey. Your son's name again?
What's that?
Your son's name. He's logged in as All About Hockey.
Sam.
Yep. He's like, "What's up? How you guys?" And just said, "Welcome back" to him as
well. So he better not be. He better not be watching. He should be asleep. He's got a game tomorrow.
Well, that was a while back. I can't see the timestamp, so maybe that was some time ago.
Good.
So. And then, Will Jasper, Mike Wren, everyone else on the chat. Thank you guys. Have fun tomorrow, Nick. Again, great seeing you. Hopefully, we'll see you some more on the shows as well.
Yeah, we'll do. Thanks, guys.
Right.
Jeff, thank you, my friend. We'll talk.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, my friend. See ya. Bye.
Take care.
And that was it. Look at that, guys. It's still here. So thank you, everyone. Let me see if I can do my closing. I can't do it because, well, anyway, I'm going to talk over anyway because, again, as always, I love you. I love you all, and thank you so much for being part of this. As always, make sure you love yourself. It's just, again, if we are here, we got to love ourselves, especially since we're the ones taking this journey on this planet together with this body, these 5 senses, this hair and everything else on us. That is something that we have to appreciate. And especially nowadays, make sure you love those around you. And as always, no matter where you are, what you're doing, or where you plan to be, make sure you always stay social. Again, thank you, everyone. Appreciate you, and we will see you next week. Thanks again.